Good morning, class. You know who it is. It's your loving, wild, and crazy teacher. Yeah, I'm not even gonna repeat it right now. So, I know that this video is different. Nonetheless, let's jump into the meat of things. So, with that being said, CE 6, 7, and 8A. Again, I have it in a minute. 6, 7, and 8A all focus on the what? Structures of American government. The structures or the levels of government. That's the national level, the state level, and the local level of government. Let's go to the screen. So, CE6 focuses on describing the structures and powers of the national government. So, first we have to hit on the essential understanding. The essential understanding is that the Constitution of the United States defines the structures and powers of the national government. What does this mean, Mr. Squire? Pretty much what this means is that the document, which is the Constitution of the United States, pretty much gives us a clear explanation of how the national government is set up, as well as what are the powers or what are the things that the national government can do. Next essential understanding relating with CE6A is the powers held by government are divided between the national government in Washington, D.C., and the governments of the 50 states. Okay? Now, jumping into the key information that you need to know about the structures and the powers of the national government. You must understand that the legislative, executive, and judicial powers of the national government are distributed among three distinct and independent branches of government. To break down these branches and explain them in detail, we will do that now. Or to better understand each branch and its powers, we're going to take the time now to break down each so that we can better understand it. Got it? Good. So, the legislative branch. One thing you need to know about the legislative branch is it consists of the Congress. And Congress is a bicameral, which is two houses, legislature, which is a lawmaking body, which consists of the House of Representatives, which are 435 members based on populations of the states, and the Senate, which consists of 100 members, which are 2 per state. That is the structure of the legislative branch. Now let's talk about the powers of the legislative branch. The powers of the legislative branch is they have the power to make laws, approve the annual budget, confirm presidential appointments, raise revenue through taxes and other levies, regulate interstate and foreign trade, and declare war. Got it? Let's run those back again. How many powers did I go over? Count it. 6. It was 6 powers that I went over. Let's touch them again. Congress has the power to do first is make laws. Why? Because legislative is a law-making body. That's why they're allowed to make laws. The next power is to approve the annual budget. Nothing can be approved if it is not sent through Congress. Again, it has to be approved by Congress. Confirm presidential appointments, meaning whatever duties or tasks that are appointed from the president or appointed by the president, or Congress has to approve these appointments. Okay? So, the president can make these appointments, but it still has to be approved by Congress. Then we got raise revenue through taxes and other levies. Other levies are fees. So we know that Congress itself is solely responsible with creating the source of money that comes at the national level. And where does this money come? Through taxes and other levies or fees. Then we got the other power is regulating interstate and foreign trade. What does this mean, Mr. Squire? What this pretty much means is that Congress monitors what goes in the United States and what goes out of the United States. For example, products that are sold in the United States, they also are sold out of the United States. And in order for this to happen, the United States must engage in trade. And as the United States engages in trade, Congress makes sure that it regulates or monitors trade in the state as well as trade going out in other countries. Okay? And then the last power is declare war. Although the president may want to declare war, he cannot take the initiative without getting the approval of Congress first. Got it? Those are touching the powers of Congress at the national level, which is, again, make laws, approve annual budget, confirm presidential appointments, raise revenue through taxes and other fees, regulate interstate and foreign trade, and declare war. Now, we go to the next branch of government, which is the executive branch. So, how many branches did we say that we were going over? Starts with a T, people. 3, correct. We are moving on to the next one now, which is the executive branch. The executive branch is headed by the President of the United States, which is also known as the Chief Executive Officer of the nation. The powers of the executive branch are as follows. Executes the laws of the land. What does this mean, Mr. Squire? This means that the executive branch enforces the laws at the national level. They make sure that the laws are being implemented or the laws are being enforced or taking place. The next power of the executive branch is to prepare the annual budget for congressional action. Pretty much what happens is the president sits back and evaluates from his cabinet all of the money that needs to be allotted or available to provide the goods and services that are explained from the cabinet members, which breaks down what needs to be done in the education system, what needs to be done in public health, what needs to be done in public safety. These members of the cabinet come to him and they discuss how much money needs to be put in for the new year and making sure that the goods and services are being provided for the people. So the president gets this budget and then he sends this budget to Congress, where Congress approves that budget, and then the money is allotted to each and every area that needs the money in order to provide the goods and services for the people. The next power of the executive branch is appoints cabinet officers, ambassadors, and federal judges. And I told you that before, previously, that, again, the president needs these members to help him effectively run or effectively run the government. Plain and simple. He needs these members to effectively enforce or do his job as a president. He needs these cabinet members, these ambassadors, and these federal judges to help him do his job. He can't do it by himself. So overall, he has the power to appoint these people. Okay, he chooses these particular members, but it's also up for Congress to approve these members that the president appoints. So then we got the last power is administer the federal bureaucracy. And what this pretty much means is that the executive branch watches over executive departments, like I say, the education department, the public health department, the public safety department. The executive branch makes sure each and every one of these departments are doing what they are supposed to do to meet the needs of the people. Okay, and making sure that they are executing. I mean, they're going out and doing these things that need to be done to create a difference for the people. Then we go to the last branch, because how many branches did I say there was? Or how many branches did I say that there were? Correct, 3. And we went over 2, which were what 2 branches? Look at your notes. The legislative branch and the executive branch. Okay? The last and final branch is what, people? I'm going to give you a minute to tell me. What is the last and final branch? Final branch is the judicial branch. Okay? And one thing you want to remember about the judicial branch is the structure of the judicial branch consists of the federal courts, including the Supreme Court, which is the highest court in the land. Now that we went over the structure, let's break down the powers. See, the judicial branch, unlike the executive branch or the legislative branch, does not have much power. The powers that the judicial branch have at the national level is the Supreme Court exercises the power of judicial review. Mr. Squire, what does judicial review mean? Judicial review means that the Supreme Court can go back and review court cases to determine if the act or action that took place in that court case was considered to be constitutional or unconstitutional. To further break this down, the federal courts try cases involving federal law and questions the involving interpretation of the Constitution of the United States. To simplify what that means is, again, the Supreme Court evaluates the cases and then looks at the Constitution and the amendments in the Constitution to determine if the case violated any constitutional rights. And if it did, we can reverse the decision that was made from that court case. Got it? And we'll furthermore learn more about judicial review when we talk about the Marbury versus Madison case, which we probably will learn more about next week. So don't rush. Just take your time and understand the importance of what judicial review is right now. The power to review court cases and determine if the act or action of the case was constitutional or unconstitutional. And if it was unconstitutional, we can reverse the decision that was made from that court case. Got it? Good. That breaks down the structures and the powers of the national government. Got it? Good. As always, you know who it is, right? It's your crazy, wild, and energetic teacher, Mr. Squire. Peace out.